Curtis Calhoun here with MMA News, and my next guest has another big fight coming up June 16th for his PFL return. It's Biaggio Ali-Walsh joining me today. How's it going, Biaggio?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks again for the time. First things first, man. I guess talk to me a little bit about this upcoming fight, how camp has been so far, how pumped you are to get back in the PFL Smart Cage.
Um, Camp's going well. I'm just getting ready for the fight. I look at every single fight as just another fight, another day in the office, and been working hard. It's kind of cliche to say, but working hard and just getting ready. Yeah.
How would you sum up your PFL experience so far? Because obviously, you've picked up back-to-back wins, quick wins in the first round. I guess how would you sum up kind of your experience with the PFL so far?
A great experience. I'm super blessed. I'm super grateful to be in the position that I'm in right now. A lot of people say, you got this because of your name. And, they're not wrong. I definitely did get this kind of opportunity because of my name, but I also have potential as well. So that's what the PFL sees in me. And I'm super grateful that an organization as big as the PFL sees me as becoming a great fighter someday. So, yeah, super excited. Two wins in the PFL, going to get a third in June. And just keep the ball rolling from there.
I gotta ask you too. Like, obviously, I know as a fighter, you're able to tune out the noise when it comes to the online hate and haters and all that stuff. But I guess where do you feel like that criticism of you comes from? Is it just jealousy because of your last name, or I guess what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, that strictly that. People are always gonna hate. I had haters when I was playing football, and that's a completely different sport. Um, they some people would say, "Oh, he's he's only gotten the starting running back position in high school because of who his grandfather is." But then again, I'm scoring 3, 4 touchdowns a game, so it's like, yeah, like I could be who I'm related to, but are you a good player? Are you a good fighter? That's the real question, right? So, yeah, it's only gonna get worse.
Is it kind of like a point of focus for you to like build your own legacy and kind of, obviously, with your lineage and all that, obviously that's still going to get talked about. But is that kind of a real focus for you is creating your own legacy and your own path in fighting?
Of course, every fighter wants to make their own name, make their own legacy. I'm doing just that too. I want to make my own name. I want my own legacy. I'm also in a different sport as than boxing, so I could pave my own legacy in this combat sport. I'm the only Ali-Walsh family member that's in MMA, so I could do that with MMA and make my own name in this sport. But yeah, every fighter is trying to create their own name, their own legacy. I'm doing just the same. I definitely get a little bit more attention because of who I'm related to. I definitely have more pressure because of who I'm related to, but yeah, I'm just trying to do my thing. I want to be an exciting fighter. I want to be a fighter that people see my name on a card and they're like, I gotta watch that fight.
Absolutely, man. I gotta ask you too. Like, obviously, you've been known for your striking so far, but is there part of you that kind of wants to showcase, the improvements you've made with your wrestling and your grappling? Because I know you've been, putting in the work in the gym with guys like Julian Erosa, etc. I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
100%. People think I have zero grappling, but I'm going with killers every day, and I'm doing good with them too. Um, yeah, you'll see.
Absolutely, man. And I got to ask you about obviously the biggest news in the sport of MMA right now in the PFL is Francis Ngannou signing. I guess what was your reaction when the news broke, and what are your thoughts on Ngannou's move to the PFL?
I actually wasn't that surprised. The PFL is a great company. They treat their fighters well. They know what they're doing in terms of the marketing and getting their name out there. I wasn't that surprised when Francis had signed with them. And I remember when it was just a rumor a couple months ago. I think I had seen a picture of uh, when he was out in Africa. I think it was Cameroon, Africa. I saw one of his family members wearing a PFL shirt,
Mhm.
so I was kind of like, oh, He's gonna
Right.
sign with the PFL. He's gonna sign with the PFL, I think. Um, and then they try to say, oh well, it's just a T-shirt, like it's just a rumor. I'm like, no, it's not. But yeah, I wasn't that surprised, wasn't that shocked, and I congratulated him too because he trains at Extreme Couture, and yeah, he's already putting in the work and he's getting ready for whatever fight he's got coming up.
Do you feel like a guy like him will make an impact in the PFL in and out of the cage in terms of like, addressing fighter related issues? Obviously, he's going to be heading PFL Africa and being one of the people on the advisory board for fighters in the PFL. I guess so. What are your thoughts on the impact he could potentially make outside of just fighting itself?
I think he can make a big impact. There's any fighter who's got a platform like Francis Ngannou and the stuff that he's done is going to inspire people as well. He's going to inspire a lot of kids from his area in Africa. He's going to inspire people from the UK. He's going to inspire anybody who wants to be like him. So, yeah, I think the PFL is super smart for signing him. I think he's doing everything right.
Absolutely, man. And I gotta get your take on, what's advice that you could give to other young fighters that are dealing with, the added fame and the attention. Obviously, your situation's unique, but in terms of young fighters that are dealing with, the added spotlight and all that, what would you say to them in terms of how to deal with all that and just focus in on what you need to do in the cage?
Yeah. I I think what really helps me tremendously is my relationship with God. I'm I'm very faithful in my relationship. Um, I don't want it to sound kind of cliche to say this, but it's true. Through God, I can only be successful and win and be able to handle all this pressure. You know, um, every fighter is going to have pressure because when they're fighting, their family and friends are watching, their coaches are there in the corner watching, and they're in there and they put in the time and stuff. So the pressure is going to be there. I think that the biggest thing and the most important thing is being calm and relaxed when you're in there. I think that plays a huge role. Um, and it's hard to too, but I would say, and I learned this from GSP as well. I read it online because I'm still searching. I'm still an amateur.
Mhm.
I'm still up and coming. Like I'm still trying to find ways where I can handle my pressure as well. So one thing that GSP said that really stuck with me is um, put on if you feel like you have the pressure and you have fight nerves and stuff like that. I would say put on a poker face and pretend you don't. And before you go out there, talk to yourself in the mirror and tell yourself how great you are. Because when you do that, then you believe it. And as soon as you believe it, you're ready to go. And then the rest is just autopilot. In a fight, you don't want to think. You want your instincts to take over. You want your training to take over. You want your muscle memory to take over. So in a fight, you don't really want to think. You want just everything to happen.
Couple more questions for me, man. Once again, I really do appreciate the time. It's always great to chat with you. I saw a recent clip. I can't remember if it was after your last fight or your PFL debut of former NFL star Marshawn Lynch in the back with you and giving you some love and support before and after your fight. I guess talk to me a little bit about your relationship with him. I know he consoled you after the death of your grandfather a few years back. I guess talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, me and Marshawn actually, we kind of go way back. I first got in contact with him through FaceTime. My grandpa's wife got me in contact with him because she knew I was a fan of his. Because I was also a running back, so Marshawn Lynch is beast mode, and he was someone that I always watched. But we first got in contact in high school, and I FaceTimed him, and he's always been kind of a mentor to me when it came to football. I went to part of the reason I went to Cal Berkeley was because he went there, and it's a great school. And yeah, he's just always been a good friend, a good supporter, and he's funny too. Like he's hilarious. So he's a fun guy to talk to, and I just I respect him a lot because he didn't have to reach out to me after my grandfather passed. You know, it's Marshawn Lynch. He's got a name, he's got things he's got to do and stuff like that. So for him to take the time to reach out to me after the passing of my grandfather, I think was really, really cool and respectful of him. And I just became an even bigger fan after that day.
Yeah, I'm Seattle born and raised, so I had to ask you about that because I'm super familiar with his career and in and
Mm-hmm.
out of football and all that. And I got to ask you too, like, what have you kind of learned from him? It could either be directly or indirectly, like how to be a professional athlete, like how to carry yourself, preparation, all that stuff. Like, what are some of the biggest things you've kind of taken away from him and watching his career and all that?
I think the biggest takeaway from him is he's always 100% himself. Um, he's not putting on an act or anything. That's just who he is. Um, and I take that away because some people they don't want, they're afraid to be themselves, and that's something that I want to do in my career. Is I want to just be myself 100%. If you like me, you like me. If you don't like me, you don't like me. I don't care. I'm always going to stick to being myself. So that's I think one thing I would take from him that is very inspiring.
Last question for me, man. I got to get back to the fight. I guess when you envision how the fight plays out in your mind against Travell Miller, how do you kind of see this one playing out? What are we going to be talking about after your performance?
Um, they're probably going to be like, oh wow, you can wrestle. Oh wow, you can grapple. Oh wow, etc. That's the conversation that's going to happen after this fight.
I got you, man. Before we wrap things up here, I'll give you the final word to shout out your team, any sponsors you're working with, all
Mhm.
that good stuff. I'll give you the final word, man.
Yeah, shout out to my team, Extreme Couture, my coach Dennis Davis, my striking coach James Gifford, Eric Nixick, um, Eddie Baracco, um, and shout out to my sponsor Celsius for giving me the opportunity, and the PFL, of course, for giving me the opportunity. I'm super grateful, and it's time to rock on June 16th.
No doubt about it, man. I'll actually be there live in Atlanta. I'm flying out to cover the fights that weekend. So it'll be great to meet you in person, chat with you, and all the best with these final few weeks. And I'm sure we'll chat again soon, man. Thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, thank you.